Oh, Nnamdi. Okay,
Yeah,
Nnamdi. I
yeah,
got you.
yeah,
Okay. Nnamdi. Cool, man.
yeah. I mean, it's an honor to have you on on our show. We've followed your career from way back, but seeing you recently on social media and Instagram and seeing your performances has just been in a time of hardship, especially during lockdown. It's been really inspiring. Um, but unfortunately, we don't get to see you here in the UK or around Europe. So this kind of interview does help those of us who can't get to see you perform, just feel a little bit connected and stuff. Um, but I have an international audience. I always used to say to my guests, it'd be good just to get a sense of where you were sort of born and raised, so that the international audience can sort of learn from that, and we just build from there.
Sure, sure. I I love the UK, first of all,
Okay.
and I really this pandemic thing is really. I've had so many plans to come there, so many
Wow.
plans, and they got canceled because of the pandemic. So I'm just really hurt because of that because I really want to get out there, but
Wow.
I'm praying, hoping it'll happen soon. So to all
Yeah.
my fans in UK, I love you and I miss you, and I can't wait to see you.
Yeah, I mean, but also around Europe, because as I said, we've got a lot of European fans that watch and stuff, and from France and
Yeah,
Germany and Holland.
France, Germany, that's right. Europe, period.
Yeah, yeah,
The Great
Europe.
Europe.
Yeah,
That's what we call. That's what we call it out here now. The Great Europe.
the Great Europe.
Yeah, yeah,
uh, but
yeah.
so it'd be good to so where were you born and raised?
Okay, I was born in Detroit, Michigan, and we spent a lot of time in Detroit before I moved. Well, at the age of 9, I moved to Grand Rapids, Michigan. So
Okay.
between Grand Rapids and Detroit, we were always back and forth. Detroit was rough, man. It was rough. It was just rough. And
Oh,
so Mama said she thought we would go to school in Grand Rapids and just be in Detroit during the summers. So, so my
wow.
life was back and forth between Detroit and Grand Rapids all the way up until the age of 17.
And during that time, because I remember interviewing Donnie Simpson 2 weeks ago, and he spoke about growing up in Detroit and Motown, being just watching out for the Cadillacs and stuff. But as a kid, did you also
Mhm.
was that also on your radar? Just the fact that Motown was in your
But
neighborhood?
that made things a lot better and a lot more tolerable because of Motown. Music was always great in Detroit. It just had a vibe about it. You could just feel the energy. Uh, by the time I was 9, Motown had they had moved from Detroit to out west
Oh,
to
LA.
California.
Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't catch the initial term of the Motown days. Not in Detroit, that is.
Yeah.
By the time I discovered Motown, they were in California.
Who were you inspired by as a kid musically then?
As a kid, I was inspired by. See, I have gospel roots that
Okay.
run deep. I was inspired by Andre Crouch, gospel singer, the
Yeah.
Hawkins family, that's gospel, of course.
Wow.
And then, of course, around the Isley Brothers, Marvin Gaye, um, Sly Stone, George Clinton. You know, it's very diverse. You know,
Yeah.
it goes from the smooth.
And during that time then, because it's funny, we always look at the DeBarge family and the Jacksons. What was your thoughts about, say, the Jackson Five and Michael? Because there's some similarities.
I remember saying to my sister Bunny, it's like, "But that kid sounds good." She says, "Kid, he's older than you." but he fine. And I was like about 10 years old, somewhere around there. So that kid sounds good. But he always had this quality in his voice that made him just sound like, a small kid, especially back in those days in the 70s. And my sister said to me again, she said, "Well, have you heard your voice lately?" Because my brother used to always tease me. They called me, they had a girl's name that, you know how family is, we tease each other all the time. Yeah, oh, it was Kathy. They called me Kathy all my life because I always had a real tiny voice all my
Oh,
life. This is like This is the lowest my voice will get right here in pitch.
Okay.
So imagine when I was a kid and I was like, hey. They said, oh, how you doing, Kathy?
Oh my goodness.
When I come home from school, Kathy's home, Kathy's home.
Oh Lord.
Family, we something else.
Wow. But just then, I mean, with all that, fun and stuff, did you, because you mentioned roots were in gospel, did you ever dream about actually becoming a recording artist, or was it more like, okay, maybe just playing in church and getting a 9 to 5?
I didn't see a 9 to 5 in my future, but I didn't really think about it. All I thought was music, not knowing the breakdown and build up of it, how it would play out. All I did was just think about writing songs, and that's all I did. I just wrote songs and sang, wrote songs and sang. My brother Bobby, my sister Bunny, and my mother, and my Uncle James. This was my 4 musical teachers within my family. So Bobby, my sister Bunny, my mother, and her brother, my Uncle James. And between them, they kept us singing, because they all wrote songs too, and writing songs. That was it. We come home from school, it's what we were into, writing songs and singing. If any of us wrote a song, we would practice it on each other. Marty, hit this note. James, try this note. So we were like a really, really close musical family unit. And there was not anything else that I thought about other than just going to school, going to church, and doing music. So recording professionally was, it was a given. My brother Bobby, he did it with the group Switch. And because he made that step first, he was able to bring us in, because we didn't have a clue on how to do that, what it entailed or anything. So
yeah. You talk about writing songs, and I wonder, did it come easy? Because that was it more of a gift, or was it more like you had to learn how to write?
You can learn how to write, and that's only because there's been so many songs written already in this world that people have managed to study it and copy it, and they figured out that there's a certain format. But from the bottom up, from starting from the ground up, I would say, well, definitely we didn't know anything about a formula. We just went off of what we were feeling and what was. So it was a gift for us. I remember having so many different parts in my songs. I'd have like 8 or 9 verses. 5, 6 different hooks and choruses. And my brother Bobby said, no. He said, you got about 50 songs in one song. So he taught me how to structure it. And he said, that's a verse, that's a hook, that's the chorus, that's the background parts. But I'm wondering, like, where did he get it from? Who taught him that? And I dare say that my brother Bobby, rest in peace, he probably has more talent in his one finger than all of us put together. And wow. He just, everything he got, it was just natural for him,
I ran a poll. So no, I was going to say I ran a poll last year on the channel to say who was the best falsetto, and I put yourself, Philip Bailey. I put some others, and everyone says, "Oh, you forgot Bobby. You should have put Bobby." And so I had to be honest. I didn't know about Bobby, and so then but everyone was saying no, that they recognize his falsetto compared to say Phil Bailey, even yourself, and which was a surprise, and because Switch, we didn't hear as much from them later on, but I read it somewhere that you said that you were you tried to sing like him. That's how much you were inspired by him, that you wanted to sing like him, or was it naturally how your voice was?
Yeah, because he has a high pitch voice, and he also is like a first tenor, so I had the same range as he had, same octave range as he had. So naturally, I cleaved to that because that's I could identify with him.
Yeah.
And he saw it first, so he nurtured it. He kept me under his wing, and I think he, I know Bobby saw a lot of himself in me. I could tell by the way he schooled me, and he tutored me. It was like I was under his tutelage, and but clearly, there's one day I was trying to sing just like him, and he didn't like that. He was very upset with me. I remember he let me finish the song, and then he looked at me and he said, I didn't ask you to copy. He said, I want you to be yourself. I don't need you copying off me or anybody else. And I remember I was so crushed because I didn't understand what he was doing at the time, but it was good. I know now it was good, but I was crushed. I mean, everything, I was like, I wanted to cry. I felt like I let him down. I felt like nothing. And then he noticed that too. So I remember him taking my head and lifting it up like this. And he said, just do it again. And I was playing the piano, I was singing, and I started crying. I couldn't help it. I just started crying. He said, now that's what I'm talking about. He said, now you're being yourself. He said, use that emotion. That's what you feel. Give me that.
Wow.
And I had it from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I saw your performance at is it the Family Christian Center in 2017?
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, with me and my mom, was it? Oh no,
No,
wait.
it was just you.
2017. That was in the Midwest area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were singing All This Love, and it felt like you were standing before God and just singing to him. I'd never witnessed a performance that felt so real, because then you changed the words slightly to make it about yourself, and it was very emotional. In fact, when I rebroadcasted, some of the people who were at the church said we were there and it was the most awesome experience. And because you just told that amazing story about what Bobby was saying, and it was probably evidence in how you were singing. It didn't seem like you were copying. It just felt like you were just standing before God and speaking to him, and we were just watching you have a private conversation. And that's
Wow.
Not easy to do.
Amazing that you said that, because I felt that way. I remember that show. I felt that way. Well, not show, but I remember what you're talking about. And I'm close to God like that. I'm close to music like that. I'm very close to my songs as if they were my children. I say this, I haven't said it in a while, but I believe that music is the voice of God. It's a universal language known to all mankind. No matter what language you speak, we understand each other right there in music.
Yeah. As a Christian, I know one of the things that always inspired me was when David was playing his harp, and Saul was delivered from his evil spirits. And I remember God telling me one day that, look, this is what I created music. That people go to church and get healing and stuff, but there was a power in music where, as you sing, people were supposed to find their healing and restoration. But a lot of us kind of forget that. And I do wonder if that was everything that you ever want to get to, where you're singing, doesn't matter what you're singing, but the spirit behind what you're singing would touch people.
Yeah. Yes. I believe what you're saying wholeheartedly. I know it's a fact. Music, everything on the radio is not music. You can write a song, but that doesn't make it music. Just all it takes is melodies and notes to come together to write a song. But for it to really be music, that's another thing. That's when you're in the presence of God. That's when you're hearing from God. Even if it's not a song that's directly saying, God, I worship you, God, I praise you.
Yeah.
Those are worship songs. But even a song about love.
Yeah.
God is love. He created love.
Yeah.
And he wants a man and a woman to share love together. And then he wants mankind to fellowship and have love one for another. And so music would do that too, but it would have to be music, not just. I don't want to call it garbage, but it's a lot of garbage.
Yeah, no. But did you learn it was early on then because of your, which you mentioned about your uncle who was a pastor, I believe, and did you and your mum, did you then learn about worship from that very end? And when you were writing your songs, was it sort of your own worship tribute to God? But even though it could be we could all see different meanings to it.
When I wrote my songs in the beginning of my songwriting days, it was purely about God. That's my first experience, writing songs to God and about God. And then when I began to write love songs, they were always on point. I noticed it was, what I mean by on point, it came from my heart, and it came from a conviction of me seeing what was going on around me. Like Time Will Reveal, I was inspired to write that. I was 15 years old when I wrote Time Will Reveal. And in fact, I just came from church, and I seen some people in the park, after the park, and I seen the people in the park, and they were it was a couple. And it's amazing that I even saw this, but it was a couple. They were talking to each other, and what was going on was he didn't believe him. It was like he was trying his best to convince her that he was for real. And like I said, it was amazing that I even heard this. I'm like 15 years old. What am I doing running into this situation? But I heard the whole conversation, and it pricked me, it pricked my heart. And when I went home, I wrote about it. It's like I wanted to tell his story.
Wow.
For some reason, I knew where he was coming from, and so I just said, "What can I do to make you feel secure?" And the words just started coming to me.
Wow.
It was truly God. It just started flowing, the words and the chords. I remember crying while I was playing it, and I wasn't sad or anything, but I just couldn't help it. I was crying, and so I put the song to the side. I thought it was corny after a while. I said, well, I don't know what I wrote that for, but I got it out of my system. So I was never going to record it, never. So, but my brother Chico, he's the one that convinced me to record it. I'm glad he did.
Wow. I saw the Blackstreet on the big Another Level album did a version that I Know the Lord. They call it Time Will Reveal. I Know the Lord is Real. I don't know if you heard of their version.
I know the Lord is real. Yeah. I heard it.
And
you did a great job.
Yeah, and that's when I was like, oh, they're singing the gospel song, but without realizing the origin of it.
Because you know what? It stands to reason from what I just told you. I mean, look at it. Isn't that amazing? God is amazing, isn't he? Because he was the one that inspired it in the first place. God was. He inspired me to see that couple in the park and then feel what was going on, And I've been writing songs like that really all my life, just from wanting to tell people's stories. And I've never had a Time of Reveal experience. I've never had an All This Love experience. Love Me in a Special Way, Stay With Me. So I wasn't writing it from my own experiences. I was writing it just from God just giving me these words because the world needed this type of healing. Somebody needed to hear it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times in the church world, we think that we can't get past the church to heal anything else.
Yeah.
We can't get past if all we talk about is God, as if nothing else is going on in this world.
Yeah.
As if there's nobody hurting out there, as if there's nobody that has a different issue.
Yeah.
And that's why we can't seem to reach who we really need to reach.
Yeah.
We have to learn how to branch out from that. I was never step outside of God, but branch out from that.
Yeah.
From that being your foundation.
Yeah.
God is my foundation. Still to this day, God is my foundation. And I branch out from that love, wanting to heal people, wanting to help people. And it helps to heal me.
But that's David. David was, if he was in this generation, we would have thought he was radical. Why are you singing to those people? But that's who he always, I mean, he wrote those Psalms. He was laying down watching sheep and thinking, oh, that's the Lord is my shepherd, just like I am to them. And but that's not how they were worshiping back then. He was just being real, talking about day-to-day stuff. And I think when I see you as that type of a songwriter, psalmist, as we would call it. But I guess sometimes the church would say, well, now, he's singing to the world, but that's the world that we're supposed to reach.
But God wants to save the world. That's why he sent his only begotten son to save the world, not to save the righteous. Yeah, David was amazing, wasn't he? What about the Song of Solomon, the Book of Solomon?
Yeah.
I read some things in there, and Solomon was getting his Mac on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was rapping to his little foxy lady.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Songs of songs. Yeah. Songs. Yeah. His love songs. Yeah. The daughter.
Yeah, he was describing the beautiful anatomy
Beautiful,
of a woman, which God made so beautifully, and he looked upon it and he was amazed, and he just started saying, "Wow!" He's telling her how beautiful her body was, but it was in the content and ramification of between a man and his significant other, not just every woman in the world. It wasn't about lust,
No.
It was about adoration of God's beautiful creation, our queens.
Yeah, definitely a queen.
Yeah.
I guess just wondering then, with the gift that you have and how joining Motown, did they nurture it, or did they think, no, we need to commercialize it and strip down stuff? Or what was your experience taking your gift into the mega black label of the decade?
At first, it was very healthy relationship between Motown and DeBarge, because Berry Gordy, he said, leave him alone. He told Motown, leave him alone. Don't try to change him. It was really, I really have to credit Stevie Wonder for a lot of that. I remember, because Stevie came into one of our meetings that we were having. Okay, it's like this. When DeBarge signed with Motown, we had a lot of meetings trying to figure out which direction we were going in, whether we were going to do this or that. So Stevie photobombed one, not photobombed.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I think the sound just went off. No, not yet. No, I think the sound just went. The sound just went off.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Okay, sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
No.
Okay, so let me do something to make sure that doesn't happen again. Okay.
Okay.
And I can't seem to do it. Okay, if it happens again, I'll know how to fix it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I was saying, so we were at Motown in a meeting, and Stevie Wonder just came in the meeting out of nowhere, and he told Mr. Gordy, he said, I just want to tell you, I heard some of their demo, because we would just sign with them, and everybody in Motown was like, did you hear about these new kids, these new family groups that Berry Gordy Simone? So Stevie had heard our demo, and he said, I'm telling you right now, he said, leave them alone, let them do what they want to do. He said, this is a very unique family. He said, and if you try to change them, he said, you're going to stifle them. And I didn't know what he was talking about at the time, because I didn't even know what the word stifle meant, And, but plus I was caught up in the fact, like, is that Stevie Wonder? Like, Mike, am I dreaming? Is that Stevie Wonder? Yeah, and he said we had to say, and he walked out, and Mr. Gordy agreed with him. So we had no problem with just being able to create the way we wanted to create and try changes. Then my first solo album, You notice I didn't write not one song on
Wow.
my first solo album, not one. And that was not my idea. Things started changing at Motown. I don't know what happened, and they just wouldn't let me write. And I had hits under my belt. I mean, we was coming off All This Love being the number one, Time of Reveal being the number one, Love and Special Way. We were booming, but they just didn't want me to write for my first solo album, so they had somebody else write for it. Did nothing. It went, but and it sort of closed me up because it hurt me. You know, I felt like they didn't believe in me anymore or something. That's what it did to me, and so I started losing my confidence, and I started losing my confidence because I realized that Motown had become they had become the measuring stick that constituted my self-worth.
Mm-hmm.
So if they didn't want me to write, I felt like I must not be nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to change that. That's when God showed me. He said, I don't want you looking at man anyway. Look to me. I'm your source. And the reason why you took such a heavy blow because of that, because your eyes were not on me anymore. So I say for that much out of it, I mean, that I got that out of it, that was good. But I still don't understand to this day why they didn't want me to write.
Yeah, but it's yeah. I mean, and during those days, I can't imagine what it's like when you have the gift, you know, that gift just to be able to, and especially when you look back at what Bobby told you, like, don't be like me, be yourself. And so naturally, you expect your own words to come out of your mouth, and the believability that we as audience and fans would be able to see. There seems to be a difference when somebody else is writing for you, and at that time you're not able to question. I don't know how the music labels work, but you can't say no. Here's my 8 songs and have a put up a fight. It's just take it or leave it. Was that how it?
Everything is structured in the contract. Wow. And our contract was structured as so that Motown really owned us collectively and individually. So wow. if they wanted me to be solo, there was nothing I could do about it. They just, you know, if I fought against it, it was a breach of contract, and I could get sued. And, wow. Because they owned us, and we were so green and naive, we didn't really understand what we were signing. You know, it just is what it is. They were able to tell me and dictate for me what I was going to write and what I wasn't going to write.
We hear this so much with all the artists I've interviewed from the 90s. It was happening a lot then, not realizing that it started even way before that. How did you then did you get an opportunity to write, but then have somebody else sing your words in the midst of this, or did you just stop writing?
You mean when that happened?
Yeah, when that was going on, were you able to? Yeah, were you able to then say, okay, let me give other people my songs, and let me, or did you?
No, like I said, Motown had full control. My songs, they had authority over it. My songs weren't going outside of the Motown building unless they wanted them to.
Wow. I know that, I mean, I guess during those times, I mean, as I said, lots of people had to learn a lot. I do remember then when you came out with Heart and Soul, and I remember I was so excited about the album because you had Babyface, who was on there. But then, did you think the industry, what had changed when Heart and Soul came out, when you were trying to deliver the songs? What did you think about how the album and its reception?
Well, the album Untitled Chapter, it wasn't. We made a mistake clearly. Motown, I mean,
Reprise?
Warner Brothers,
Warner
Reprise,
Brothers,
Warner
yeah,
Reprise.
Reprise, yeah.
We made an error with the marketing scheme and where we targeted our promotion at. And by the time we figured it out, the album had lost momentum. That our timing was off. And so, you know how companies think productivity and, it was just margin. And so it was just time. The only thing they could think was, all right, give us the next album. They said, well, what about this one? This, whatever, give us the next one. But now, the fans, thank God for the fans. Because when people love something, the fans, they're not signed to any record company. They're free.
Yeah.
You're not going to change. You're not going to box them into anything because they are the ones. And fans, I love you, by the way. And God, because the fans have really kept my spirit alive, kept me encouraged. Because when you look at them and they show you what they like, they show you what they want, and you say, hey, well, why do you like that? Why don't you like it? because this, that, and the other one. Fans say, well, I'm not bothered with all that. I like what I like, and that's it. You feel me?
Yeah.
And then so you begin to remember the days that you were like that, and that you were free to think like you want to think. And that's why I said thank God for the fans, because they're a reflection of what's real, and where you should be at. Now, along with success comes a great responsibility. And I understand that. But part of that responsibility is a responsibility to yourself, to being you and not forgetting who you are. And I don't mean like, don't forget where you came from, don't get the big head. Skip that. I'm talking about forgetting who you are, remembering who you are. Always keep a great sense of yourself and what you like. And that's so easy to lose, man. That's so easy to lose. Don't underestimate the vast thrust of how that can come in on you so quickly in the interim of everything. But if you do lose that, everyone else seems to see it before you do. And because we don't want to see it because of our egos, we don't want to face it. I wrote a song called Mr. Has Been, Will You Ever Be the Same Again? Mr. Has Been. And it was about, because I started seeing people, egos getting away, and they couldn't understand why they weren't, because your ego won't let you see it. Your ego will make you tell yourself a lie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I guess what I'm saying in essence is the fans, keeping my eye on them, showed me they do like Heart, Mind, and Soul. They do like certain songs on the Heart, Mind, and Soul album. So I took my point of view away from the industry, the record company, because I noticed also that people in the industry love Heart, Mind, and Soul. So it's not the industry or the fans, but you know what? I think fans are a part of the industry. So it's not the industry, fan part of it, or the celebrity part of it, but it was more so the companies, and things like that. They need to learn how to think correctly, because Heart, Mind, and Soul is I rethought that whole thing. I revisited it, and it's a good album.
Yeah.
I remember where I was at now. I remember where Babyface was at, where we both were at, and we were in the right place. We were.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I bought it. I have the album. Well, I used to live in the States, and I bought it when it came out, and I was excited by it. But as I said, we studied how the industry was shifting. It was a lot more image led.
Yeah, the Motown was being sold to MCA. hip hop came in really hard, really
Yeah.
thrust. I mean, boom, 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 came in, didn't it?
Yeah, on the West
And
Coast, yeah.
so yeah, and then you had the age group. You know, it was shifting. You know, the new kids were coming in, the new teenagers, and man, you know, what comes from the heart reaches the heart. 'Cause I survived all of that because I stayed true to my heart. I believe it's what it is. You know, and people, everybody has a heart. Everybody has feelings, and you know, I tell my celebrity friends, as peers, should I say, all the time, don't underestimate your fans, man. They know a lot more than you. You know, you you think they're stupid, but they're not. Don't underestimate them. They can teach you something. And, you know, they can help you remember who you are instead of who you think you are.
Yeah.
And it's true.
Yeah. I think during that time, I noticed because DJ kind of West Coast hip hop was becoming very prominent, and DJ Quik was very prominent. But I noticed that you were almost aligned to him, and it seemed a strange combination because, especially if you're coming from Motown, there's always that sense of elegance and class. But it's like, oh, how did that sort of connection, you know, DeBarge to DJ Quik?
DJ Quik. Now he's a genius. If there ever was a genius, he's one. And, I mean, it's just a fact. Those of us who've been in the studio with him, we've seen it with our own eyes. He's phenomenal. There's so much more to him. If there was anybody that could do an DeBarge, DJ Quik rap artist collaboration, because you know, like you said, DeBarge, DJ Quik, there's two different. If there was anybody that could bring it together, it would be DJ Quik, because I'm saying it because I've seen his genius, and yeah, he could do it. It would take somebody like him to do it. He has the capacity within him to know how to do that. He's just a real person, or like they say, a real nigga. You know, he's just a real. You know, oh man, I have nothing but, I mean, good things to say about him. He came and got me at a time that I was just down, and you know, I told you my story when I lost my confidence because Motown, or they did my writing thing and all the other stuff that was going on. And when I met DJ Quik, we were at a concert together at Hollywood for the House of Blues, and I was just there, you know, trying to find my mojo. You know what I mean? And he was there, and I saw him, and I went up to him. I said, "Hey, man, how you doing?" I said, "Nice to meet you, DJ Quik." I said, "I'm DeBarge," and he looked at me and said, "I know who you is, nigga." So he says, "What you doing later on, man?" I said, "Nothing." He said, "Why don't you come to my house with me, man? I got a studio at my house." Yeah, let's vibe. I went there, I met him at his house, and I went straight to the microphone, and something just. Okay, you back? You there?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Something just came over us, DJ Quik and I, and it just, you know, the vibe came in the room, and we just started writing and singing. We didn't stop, man, until the sun came up.
Wow.
And we're still going. And we've got songs that we haven't even released just from that night.
Wow.
Alone, just from that night alone. And he helped me out up here and in here, and he nurtured my spirit, man.
Wow.
Reminded me who I was, you know, and I owe a lot of homage to him for that, man. Because he believed in me, and he helped me believe in myself again, and then gave me a hit record. You know what I mean? Because he put me out there, and I was back on again.
Yeah.
The players get their paper when the game is back. You know what I mean? Just a great guy, and a great producer, and a great musician, and a great.
Yeah, and you know, and that's you know, the powerful thing you've been saying so much, especially when we go back to your roots and your relationship with God, and how easy it is to judge your success with how the world or industry and everyone else has seen it, and not how God has seen you, and realizing that when you're ready, bringing people in to remind you of who you are and stuff, and
Yeah,
that
yeah,
it, because
yeah.
did
Thank you,
you?
God, because you did it. You did it. He knows the right people to place in your path. He does that. He specializes in things that seem impossible. God does.
Because we mentioned it doesn't seem like a fit, DJ Quik and El DeBarge, but then but then it's not always who we expect. You would assume Stevie Wonder calls you up and says, "Come on, let's write a song." Or people of that, but he brings
Right.
somebody and says, "How are you going to respond when they do come around and stuff?"
Yeah.
Yeah, for the longest time, I actually thought that you were Latino because your name was L. And then I was a big Chico fan. I bought his albums. I was a massive fan. But Chico DeBarge, he looked Latino.
Right,
And
Chico. Puerto Rican. We
yeah,
get Puerto Rican a lot. You of course you've been to New York, of course, right? Now you have been to New York, right?
yeah. But I've been to but I lived in LA, Redondo Beach, and I lived in the Midwest. But
I was going to say you haven't been to New York. I was going to say
yeah, no, I've been, yeah,
so anyway.
yeah.
I tell people this all the time. New York, LA first, then New York second. I love LA, but
Yeah.
New York is my next joint. That's my next joint, New York. So anyway, they have New Yorkers in New York. They're not Puerto Ricans. They're New Yorkers.
New Yorkers.
Yeah, and they're serious about that. I'm New Yorican. Okay, I'm sorry. But they're very different. It's a different breed of Puerto Ricans in New York. I love them.
But did a lot of people for a long time think you were a Puerto Rican, Latino?
Yeah, they did. They thought I was Latino, Puerto Rican, which was cool because when we were younger, it was just half breed.
Oh,
so the Puerto Rican was, oh yeah, I'll be that. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, here in the UK, we call them either half caste or mixed race, but it's almost it's not a negative in a sense. It was only sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, no, it was only when I saw you and your mum doing, I think it was Thanksgiving. I was thinking, well, she's black. Mm-hmm. And this was just this Thanksgiving. So all this time,
that's my black queen, my mama.
I was thinking,
that's my black queen. I love her.
I thought maybe I was thinking, why is this? And I had to study. She's a black woman. How is your mom? That's how, as I said, I've been a big fan, but never knew. Just because, as I said, I was a big Chico fan. I'm thinking of Chico, Latino, DeBarge, and even DeBarge. It's not like Jackson and stuff. So it's only when I saw you.
There's another one. Chico is so uniquely talented. He's unique, and he's a winner. He's got his own DeBarge style. It's different from the Bunny, Randy, L, James, Marty, even Tommy and Bobby. He's even different from the Switch thing. Chico has his own niche, and it works. It works, and it's like nobody in our family is like Chico. He's very unique, man, and it works. It's the business. I love his voice. He has his own kind of falsetto, his own kind of warmth, and his own kind of gangster.
Yeah, I bought his albums, and he was very neo soul. So it came out at that time. I interviewed Donell Jones recently, and he was good friends with Chico back when they were. I didn't realize he was on LaFace before going to Motown. He featured with Queen Pen on all the It's True, and so he, most of us were like, and he was more. I was going to say more R&B, but he was, especially he was.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, that in the 90s, he was he was massive and stuff, and so, but it was good that he was different, that he didn't, it was good that it felt different, and
some people are different, but that's all it is. They're just different. It doesn't mean it's going to work though. But he had a difference that was it was a good difference. It was. It works.
Yeah. No, as I said, massive fan, but as I said, I thought it was Puerto Rican until now. I realized you guys, and stuff. But
I love Puerto Ricans. man.
Yeah, no, but as
Don't
I
you?
said,
Look,
yeah,
look, don't
yeah,
you?
yeah, no. No, I spent half my life, a third of my life in the UK, a third in Nigeria, then
Okay.
a third in the US, and in a way, I've sort of been sort of globalized and stuff. Um, when I was in 85, 86, I went to boarding school in Nigeria, and it was hard being
Oh,
11 years old to have to be sent to boarding school by your parents. But the
oh,
one
wow.
song that would always remind me of the not the happiness was Rhythm of the Night. Um,
Yeah.
because it came out around that time, and I always remember being in boarding school, and we'll have a little kids dance, and that song just had so much energy, so much joy around it. And I tell people that when I talk about music, especially in the 80s, I was living in Nigeria. So when a song crosses from the US and goes into Africa, and this was pre-internet and stuff, so it must have been a massive hit for it to be embraced in another continent in Africa,
Yeah.
especially in
Yeah.
Nigeria. Did you realize the success, the global reach of the song? Because in America, it's quite easy to know, you see your Billboard charts, but to know it's reaching people in other countries. Did you realize?
I had no idea the massive uh, outreach that DeBarge had. And the reason why we had no idea was because Motown didn't want us to know.
Wow.
Because they were under the uh, belief that when you let an artist know how great they are, how well they receive, you can't control them. And Motown was all about controlling a person. If we sold 1 million albums, they only let us know that we sold 250,000.
Wow.
If we sold 2 million, you only sold 1 million. If we could fill up a stadium, you can only fill up an arena. That's how they were. So we didn't know. We didn't know how big we were in the UK. We didn't know how big we were in Nigeria. Globally, we didn't know. And we didn't have the knowledge. See, we didn't have internet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, who's going to break their neck and try to find and search that? I mean, it was the Gavin report and different things that you could, but we were barely learning about that. So they were able to pull that off. But now they can't do it now, though.
No.
I know who
Do you think it was the success of Michael Jackson that said, "Well, we can't let that slip away"? I don't know, because he just seemed like he became so big that he and knowledgeable about the business that I don't know if that was.
but the reason why he became big like that was because he had the opportunity to get away from Motown, and that's when he discovered, wow, all of this I didn't know because they didn't want me to know.
Mhm.
Basically it in a nutshell. And I didn't meet Marvin Gaye. I didn't meet anybody that Motown didn't want me to meet. Couldn't meet him. We lucked up and met Marvin Gaye, and then we were never allowed to see him again after that.
Wow.
That's that's the way they would control.
Wow.
I wrote all this love. I wrote all this love for Marvin Gaye, and
For him to
I
sing.
wanted him to sing. And they said, well, we showed it to Marvin, and he didn't like it.
Wow.
And when I met Marvin, he told me that wasn't true. Even his wife at the time, Jan did. She said, "Are you kidding me?" She said, "We used to sit and listen to that song day and night. And Marvin used to sit down and listen to the parts that sounded like him, and he used to say, 'I'm gonna get that boy trying to sound like me.'" I was like, I was so fascinated with that when she told me that. I was like, really, really, like, oh, really? But I never knew, because We never knew
Wow.
until they told us.
Did you ever get a chance to sing with, say, Michael?
Did I ever get a chance to
Sing with Michael Jackson?
To sing with him?
Yeah.
No, I never had a chance to sing with him. Never did. So,
What about Stevie? Because being same record label.
yeah, Stevie and I used to be in the studio all the time. And Stevie and I, we cool to this day. Stevie was known for just coming by your studio sessions and just being there. He just pop up there. He start playing the piano, singing with you. Stevie, that's how he is. He just, you know, Stevie is to love Stevie.
Yeah. What about the other great songwriter, Smokey?
Yeah, Smokey. He's yeah, we did. Smokey he produced a couple of vocal sessions with us in the studio. We had the honor and the privilege to be under Smokey's tutelage for a brief moment. It was great. He's just Smokey's just. Boy, if there ever was a person that was born to write songs, it would have to be him. You know, and then he like that he could sing them too, and really talented.
What's been your favorite? Who's sang the favorite cover of All This Love? Because I know a lot of people have. I have one person in mind, but from your point of view, who has done a version of it, and recorded a version of it that you've really said, "Wow, this is really good"?
I really don't know her name. It's a female sang it. Recently, I heard it.
Oh, recently, okay.
And the producer is a guy named, he calls himself Groove Funkle. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
You check it out when you can. It's called Groove, like Groove Funkle, Funkel, Funkel. And he's got a version of All This Love where he has a girl singing it. To me, she sounds great.
Wow.
I can't remember her name, but just look for Groove Funkle, All This Love. He sounds great. And Patti LaBelle, I love her.
I was gonna say Patti, because I'm a massive Teddy Riley fan, and I saw when
Teddy did a good job on that. I thought Teddy did such a great job on that. Teddy Riley did a great job on that. I mean, he just did. He's got a touch, man. It's just Teddy, and you know, and you can't touch that.
Have you ever worked with Teddy?
And Teddy was able to be petty, and it stood out as petty, and it was still All This Love. The producer, which was Teddy Riley, I think he did a great job.
Yeah. Have you ever worked with Teddy?
Oh yeah, with the After the Dance song that we did with Fourplay. Fourplay, that was their first single ever. The group Fourplay was After the Dance, the first single, and Patty and I sang on that.
Oh, wow!
After the Dance by Fourplay. Yeah.
You know, in the 90s, one of the biggest songs that you were involved with. Well, there's two that I can remember. The first was Secret Garden. Yourself, Al, James Ingram, and Barry White. And did you realize? I mean, as I said, I was still in Nigeria when that came out, so that's another big global hit. But what was it like just having we don't get a lot of those anymore, but what was it like when Quincy sort of gave you the idea about this is what we want you to be part of?
He had the music written already, but it was very, it wasn't a whole lot of the music he had written, at least not yet, but it was enough to write words and the melody to. So Quincy Jones, myself, and Saida Garrett, we did an all-nighter at Rod Temperton's house. We were there and we were just writing. And, no, I don't like that. Let's try that. Okay, well, what about this? No, okay, I like that, but I don't like that. Quincy's very particular about what he wants. So we were writing, and then we say, Quincy, how do you like this verse? it just went on all night like that. And the sun came up and we were still doing it. And so finally we got the song just like we wanted it. Verse to this verse to this background. So I said, okay, finally, now I need to go and go to bed now. He said, nah, we're going to the studio.
Whoa.
Because he said, no, we're going to the studio, son. We're going to record this right now.
Wow.
I said, you kidding me, right? He was not kidding. We went straight to the studio and we recorded it. And I sang, and James Ingram sang his part. I'll be sure sang his part. And Barry White came in last. He sang his part. But I remember I was so tired. I was like, everybody's going to sing and they're going to sound good except me because I'm tired. So I told Quincy, I said, Quincy, let me just warm up and see, you know, at least give me a chance to warm up. You know what I mean? At least can I at least get that, you know? So he said, yeah. He said, just warm up in the mic.
Wow.
So I did. I was warming up in the mic, you know what I'm saying? And then I felt like I could do it. Then I said, wow. So, you know, I was like, thank you, God, for giving me the strength. You know, and thank you, Quincy, for letting me warm up. He said, you're welcome. He said, come on in. He controlled me. So I went in. I said, yeah. I said, thanks, man. He said, all right, you can go home now. I said, huh? He said, you finished. I said, I just warmed up. He said, no, that's great, baby. Go home.
Whoa.
I was so scared. I was so scared for months. I was like, that's going to sound terrible. That was just my warm-up. I've always been so critical like that.
Okay.
But, I mean, I should have known if Quincy said it was good, then it was good.
Yeah.
You know, he's not, I mean, this is Quincy Jones. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Duh. But, you know, that's just me being a perfectionist.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was my warm. That's my warm up. What you guys hear. And I was scared because I was the only one that didn't like it.
But then afterwards, the success and then your performance on Soul Train, did you?
Yeah, that was live. It was, we were I was in white, right? I think were we all in white or were we all in white?
No, black. I think it was black.
I had on white, didn't I?
No,
was it black?
Yeah. Barry White. Yeah, we all went. Oh yes, James.
Yeah. Oh, black, white, like that.
Yeah. No, where you wore white was Arsenio's show. I remember you did white when Arsenio's stuff. But yeah.
I guess I'm allowed to get it mixed up every now and then.
Yeah,
right?
it's a lot. I mean, as a fan, we watch it and then we stuff. Then the other thing you did, Jason's lyric.
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, I was just asking about Black Men United. You would know.
Oh yeah. Kevin Campbell starts out, I was a young boy. I remember Kevin. He was standing next to me, right? And his voice is so powerful. A lot of people don't know Kevin has a very powerful voice, and he yelled out something while he was singing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah. We all looking at him like.
Oh, you can see. You noticed that?
Yeah. Oh, like, oh. Yeah. We all like look at Elvis staring at. Okay.
It's because it was real loud. I was like, whoa.
But did you realize?
I love Kevin, man. He's so talented.
Yeah. Did you realize though the song, how the impact it did have when you got invited to take part in that ensemble? Because we've not had anything since that it has come close.
Yeah, and to this day, people really like that. That was a great idea from Brian McKnight and D'Angelo. Had written that song and brought it together, and I think it was a great idea. We need to do something like that again. You know, the more we can unite, as many times as we can get together and unite, it just helps. It just helps in so many ways.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Recently, we saw you on DJ Cassidy's Pass the Mic, It was, before it was such a phenomenon and stuff, but we saw you take part in that. And did you realize the impact what Cassidy had kind of created and the global reach it had when you joined?
I didn't realize to the degree that I know now. The world is hungry for passion, to be able to express the passion and receive the passion. People want to love and be loved. And music brings so many of us together. That's what DJ Cassidy, that's what he had in mind when he created Pass the Mic, the whole concept, the whole idea. And he loves it. If you notice, he's just so excited about it when he does it. So you can tell it's really coming from his heart. It's not just an idea to him, but he feels it, he lives it. And he gets so excited when he sees that people are being fed by it. He really loves it. It's genuine.
Yeah. You were recently with him, Pegasus World Cup.
Pegasus, yes. Yes, I enjoyed that so much. That was great, man. To be on stage with Ja Rule,
Little
I
Kim
call him
as well.
King Ja Rule. Little Kim, the Queen Bee.
Yeah.
And Mace.
Yeah.
And Little Caesar. Man, it was just it was great. It was great.
And then
because we had never been on stage together before, all of us together. That was our first time. It was great. I'll never forget
it. But then just recently, just 2 days ago, you did your Tiny Desk performance. Another real, and because you've almost gone back, but you tend to continue to sing almost as if there's no one around and it's just yourself, your keyboard and your God. What was that experience like in that sort of, it just felt like a small cupboard and you just said, forget everything around me. I'm just going to just sing.
Yeah, you said, that's it. Just forget everything around me, just sing. Sing to the maker of man and the creator of music. Sing to him the music that you love, music that you all love. You can hear it and feel it and experience it because of the creator of music. And to be able to sit at the piano and just sing and play and be in his presence, it's just, I'm almost there now. Let me stop it. It's great, man. It's great because there's healing in that moment for me. And I believe that people can see that sometimes when I'm singing. And I want you to know what it is that you're seeing. You're seeing moments with God, with me and God. You're seeing a man who is grateful in, of, and from his heart, and who's expressing his love not only to God, but to you, for you, for everybody out there. So being a man of God and a vessel of love, that's what I'm here for. And it's always going to happen. I'm always going to be a vessel through which God's love can flow because that's why he created me.
So with that, what can we expect to see from DeBarge 2022?
Well, 2022, I will be releasing songs in the month of April.
Wow.
Will be the start of the release. And I just inked in a deal with, I can't say who yet, but you'll know when I'm at liberty to say it. It's going to be a big announcement. It's going to be, but I just inked in a deal with a major company, and so we're back at it again.
Wow.
Here we go.
Wow.
Here we go. And we're doing it for the love of you and for the love of God and for peace all around the world, to heal, bring together unity. Because that's what we believe in. We want unity, we want love, we want peace. Away with all of this darkness, man. Nobody wants that. We want love, right? We want light, right? We're children of the light.
Yeah.
And that's so I'm here, as long as I'm here on this earth, you're gonna have that because I'm gonna represent it. And that's my word.
Oh, that's good. So we should expect it around April.
Yeah. And then so from there it's like a rocket. We out there then we gone.
Oh, you're gonna be doing lots of tours and
oh yeah, we're gonna be doing tours, appearances. Yeah, I'm coming to see you. I'm coming Europe, United States, everywhere. We're coming. You're gonna see me. I'm gonna be there, and I want y'all to be there. And let's shake hands. Let's pray this pandemic. Something's got to give.
Yeah.
Till then, we'll be wearing masks.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think the fans would be excited to hear that we're going to get some new music from you because we haven't heard new stuff for such a long time. So we definitely appreciate that. I always end my interviews by asking my guests that if you were stuck in an elevator and you had to pick a movie to watch while they get you out, what movie would you request to watch?
Ten Commandments.
Is it the Charleston Heston one?
That will be the Mills.
Okay.
The 10 Commandments with Charleston Heston.
Okay, that's a powerful. Oh, that's a powerful one. And what's your all-time favorite song? Not one that you've written, but just by any artist that you just say, well, this if I could, favorite song.
Let's see. Yeah, I gotta pick one. Okay. Okay, since I have to pick one, my all-time favorite song. If I have to pick one, then I'm gonna pick one that I like that sends me there to that energetic space and that happy. Ain't no stopping us now. Like Fred and Whitehead.
Oh, okay. Wow. What's about that? Because I interviewed his son Kenny Whitehead, but what lifts you up about this song?
Well, first of all, I only have to pick one. That's not the question.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, but the words. I mean, I know you've been around someone that has negative vibes. Ask them where they're going. They don't know. But I'm not gonna let nothing bring me down. I got myself together and I'm polishing up my act. And if you've ever been let down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore. Don't you let nothing stand in your way. Nothing.
Wow.
I want y'all to listen to every word I say. Ain't no stopping us now.
See, the thing is, we hear the song, but we don't hear the lyrics like that. And when you listen to the lyrics, it's like, wow, that's a testament, that's a statement, that's a inspiration. But most of us just listen to the music and dance and not really pay attention to what's being said.
Yeah, because he said you have negative vibes. People do this, they do that. But he just made up in his mind, you know what? Ain't no stopping me now. It just ain't gonna happen because I'm not gonna let it happen.
Wow,
that's fine.
No, that is a powerful. But your song that you've written, what's your favorite of all the songs you've written?
Stay with me in all this love. And time to reveal and love me, especially now.
You just leave it all of them.
That's not fair, man. You like asking somebody to pick between their own kids.
No, but so if the Grammys, if the Grammys called you today,
stay with me, bar none, stay with me.
Wow. Because you sing all this love most of the time and loaded for it, but yeah, I'm just saying if the Grammys called you up and says, "Come on, El, we want to honor you today. Here's one song you can perform live. If we stay with me."
Stay with me.
Yes.
And I would milk it. It would go on forever. I would do extra parts. I would break it down and build it back up, and I'd do this and I'd take it apart. I would milk it. It would go on for like about 15 minutes.
Oh, goodness.
I'd have an orchestra breakdown with nothing but the strings, and then I'd come back with the vocals, And then I bring somebody in to beat. I bring somebody in to do Biggie's part. Or what?
Oh, good. Yeah, you've really blessed us today. I know timing, we kind of squeezed a lot the time from you, but it's been really inspirational hearing your story and hearing your truth as well. And that's what our audience love about these interviews, is that we touch on the music, but we really want to know the person behind the music, and you've really given us a side of you that we haven't really seen, and which is really powerful. So I appreciate the time that you've given us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time too. Thank you very much. I'm coming at y'all. Look out for your boy. Here I come.
Yes, definitely. Yes, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, to press the notification bell so that you can be notified when we do have a new interview. Loads to come, but thanks a lot for watching.
I begin to